Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the Risoux Forest. Well, it does seem to fit on here. I don't know if it's clipping or not. It does seem to fit. There's a few bits of cable down this side that don't necessarily seem to fit. I just don't like the idea of leaving this one going with a 6-meter bar. It's going to take forever and a year to actually finish anything doing it with a bar like that. Can I alter you? Now, the tanker, though, is... tanker is leased. Which means that if I try and change anything on it, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to unhitch that one and leave it there. And then if I bring the tanker over... I like this thing. I do. It's... I like it because it does look really cool, but it may end up taking a lot longer than I would like it to. Let's just leave you there a second. I'm going to go over here. Can I customize you? Yeah, I cannot... No. I can't customize you either. All I can do is repaint you. Okay, so I'm going to have to return that one. And then I'm going to have to get another one, only this time I'm going to have to make sure that I've correctly increased the speed of it, which I didn't do. I did with the dribble bar, but I didn't with this bit. That was foolishness on my part. So 26k, that's what we want there. Wheel setup can be standard, wide tyres, narrows. Let's go with wide tyres, why not? Lease. Haven't got wide tyres on the actual machine itself over here. But I'm okay with that at the moment. Let's see what this looks like now with the wider tyres. It's whether or not we can still hook on our dribble bar. Because I like this dribble bar that I've got, but... yeah, I think these tyres are alright. It's whether or not we can travel properly at the full 26k. That's going to be the deciding factor. If we can, I think this isn't going to take huge amount long. Right, now I have a problem with the wide tyres. Well, that's there. The problem is because I'm not reversing straight, but... yeah, that's not really designed for it, is it? Like, it does go on there, but you've definitely got this vibe of these two don't really go well together. So I don't think we'll end up keeping this machine for all that long. I don't know yet. We'll sort of wait and see. I wasn't really all that fussed about how we do slurry and manure in this series. I do want to be able to use some of the big machines just so that we can play around with them because, well, they're cool. But I don't want to be spending too long messing around with the big toys. Like, we've got other big toys that we can go and play with. There's all sorts of different things that we can use. We kind of need to make sure that we don't spend too much time on one toy and that we use all of the toys. Right, let's go around this way. I might as well just start working in the big field over here. I like having a whole load of CLAAS machinery here because, you know, it's classy. Let me go up here and then we'll unfold this one. So I'm hoping, in theory, I just unfold this one here. Yeah, see, we got problems. It's not designed for this one, is it? Slurry tank. Combinations. It's just giving me that one as the only one. And you're only 6 meters wide. What am I supposed to do with a 6 meter wide? I need more. 6 is not enough. That is definitely not big enough. And, right, so if I just... yeah, that's all you got to do is just lower it down. You don't need to actually turn anything on or off. Just drop it down. Really? You're still only doing 15k? Right. Let me stop a sec. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Slurry tanks, and I go to that one. You don't have a working speed, so there was nothing to do with that one. Does the Saddle Trac itself have a working speed? Is that what's caused the problem? No. Huh. In theory, this should now be spreading at 26k, but it's not. It's spreading at 16k, which means that it's too slow. Now, whether or not we put the correct dribble bar on, it'll go at the faster speed. I don't really know. It may not. To be honest, at this point, I don't think it really matters, because I've already decided that we can't keep this thing, despite the fact that this just looks achingly cool. Look at that. That is just awesome. Look at this thing. How awesome does this look? Yeah, it don't get much better than that. This is why I want to keep it, just because it looks cool. Purely for looks. Care about practicality. This is all about looks. Help if I could drive straight. I'm trying to get it lined up, but it's very difficult to do it when I can't see what's going on out the sides and the front and so on. So I'm wiggling all over the place at the moment. And I don't like the slow speed that we're driving at. Alright, that'll do for that. Let's not do any more with this one. So that looks really cool. It is fun to operate and to drive and so on. But quite frankly, it's not giving us what we actually want, which is a machine that will spread slurry quickly on the fields. So this dribble bar, I'm going to keep that one. So if I unhitch the dribble bar there, that one can stay there. And then these three, we'll bring these over here and we'll return them. One of them is bought and the other two are leased. So if I go into here, like this, return that one, yep, okay. Sell that one, yep, okay. And return that one, yep, okay. Then I want to go into here and that one and slurry tanks. And now we're going to go with, so there's the Xerion Saddle Trac. Yeah, possibly we would use this in a different series. The 6 meter wide. It's not a very wide spread. It's still going to take a little while to use, and I don't really want to get involved with that at the moment. So I've got a load of Samson stuff, but I used that a lot in the time lapse in FS19, the Estancia one. So I'd like to see some different color going on, which is why I don't want to use that one, which is why I'm going to go with this bad boy right here. Plus, this has got 4 axles on this thing. This is insane. So let's take that one up. That should be 26k. Yep, perfect. 26k on there. We've got wheel setup standard, wide tires. We go with that. This is, you look at the size of it. You've got the bit up here. It's the bracket. This is designed for that dribble bar that we've got. This is the one that we're going to want. So this is 192,000, which is pretty much everything we got. I mean, it's just under, so we're going to be left with like 300 euros if we buy it. So we're just going to lease this one for now. I think that's probably the most sensible option there. But what that means is we're going to need to go and get this one. So unhitch that there. Now we've got this extra weight. We've got the front minion weight, plus we've got the huge amount of weight, like 3 tons of solid steel on the back of our machine here as well. That should help us with towing this thing around. I mean, look at the size of this slurry tanker. This thing is huge. Let's grab that one. It's 32,000 litres, which is a little bit more than the one for the CLAAS Xerion. Because that one was 30,000. So it's not a massive amount of difference, but there is a little bit. The axles on this beast do steer a little bit, which is going to help. Although it'd be better, I think, if they locked when we reversed, because we wouldn't have that going on, but we can live with that. Right, bring you in here. So that is hooked on, and there you got the pipes going in and everything like that. That's how it should be. That's this is the way. This is how it should be. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let's run you up through here then. Let's go and load this one up. At least he does swing round the corners nice and sharp like the Saddle Trac was doing. He's struggling a bit there with the weight. We could actually do more weight on the back by the look of it. I got all that weight on there, and yet I still feel like I need more weight on top of this. Maybe we need wheel weights as well, just to sort of hammer that down a little bit. I have a feeling that we could really do with some wheel weights on here. Especially now I've loaded this thing up. Look at that. He's struggling to pull that. I need a bigger tractor. It's not necessarily the bigger tractor that we need. It's the... I just need a heavier tractor. Now I can bring you round. Also, I can't turn this too sharp. I do have to be conscious of the fact that I can't turn this too sharp. That 32,000 litres in there. Yeah, I'm struggling to tow this along. And it's not turning the corner very easily there either. I know I do want to go out to the field, but I'm not going to just yet. I'm going to bring this one into the workshop, and we're going to just see if we can change some stuff over. So I've got this minion weight on the front at the moment, and I'm thinking that perhaps we want to change this around a little bit. So if we go in here... No, we don't want to go in here. Let's shut that one off a second. And we'll go... there. Okay, so the minion weight is... Lizard minion weight. How heavy are you? Right, well, I don't know how heavy that one is, so let me go into the weights section and look up the minion weight. Here's somewhere. There he is. That one is only 1 ton. That is a 1 ton weight, and I think this tractor could do with a whole lot more weight than that on the front, just to help things along a little bit. So if we go into here and we go to the large tractors, the actual machine that we've got is this one. And we know that we've got a couple of options on the front. And so if I go additional weight, that's going on the back. That's 3,400. So I've got 3.4 tons of weight on the back of that thing. And then I've got attacher type, standard 3 point. And I can add 3.5 tons of weight on the front. And then I can also do track VC. We got triples, twins, front and rear weighted floats. I see. Right, so I can add weights to the wheels, but I can put a 3.4 ton weight on the front instead of having the minion weight that I've got at the moment. So we're looking for 3.4 tons. So what I was actually thinking is that if I just go and buy another weight, and I'll have a look at the heavier options that we've got here. So I've got like that one there, that's 2.5, that's 3.3. And, well, that would be the one, I suppose, Fendt. I don't really want a Fendt one, do I? It's CLAAS there. Oh, 3.4. Right, that's exactly what we want. We'll put that on the 3-point links. So I'll buy that one there, and then come out of here, and I'll go into here, and then I'll just sell the lizard, the minion weight, because that one's a bit too light. And repair, yeah, and then sell. Okay. Right. That way I can keep the front links on this tractor, which I think is going to be a helpful thing to have. I don't have any other options for weights unless I put float tyres on this one. I swap it over for the flotation tyres. I don't want flotation tyres on this. Not at the moment, at least. In order to get that weight, I'm going to have to swing right round a big circle. This tractor is struggling to move this, so maybe I do need the flotation tyres and that extra weight as well. But this, let's see what this does first. That makes a difference straight away. But I'm still going to struggle to pull anything with this. This tanker is definitely a tanker for a big tractor, and the tractor that we've got right here is not really up to the task. It does most of what we want it to do, but it's just not quite powerful enough to get up the hill with that one running when he's full. Once we've emptied it out a bit, it'll probably be alright. I mean, yeah, you look at that. Coming around the corner while he's loaded. He's really going to struggle with this, isn't he? Right, let's... Oh, hang on. No, I want to go and make sure that we've got that right one selected. Bring you on over this way. And... there. Right. So it's the same as before, we just press V and lower it down and then it powers up everything. But he's able to do the 26k going along the field, going downhill, which at least that's a step in the right direction. So we are able to do that much. I'm just going to bring that right down to the end, right there. So then we raise that one up. Back round the corner, and we'll try this again. So I'm going to... yeah, see, going up the hill, that's where he struggles an awful lot more. Oh, I missed a little bit there. I'll come back and get that the next time round, won't I? Right. Yeah, definitely going to need a bigger tractor to make this work properly, and we didn't just do that. That was a figment of your imagination. You did not see me do that to our tractor. That was absolutely a figment of your imagination. Okay, so now I am going up the hill, but I'm letting hired help do this as well. And surprisingly, he seems to be doing all right. But I mean, we've emptied out half of the tank. So now that we've emptied out half of it, he seems to be doing a lot better. Is he going to be able to turn round? This is going to be the difficult bit. It's actually turning around properly. I mean, look at this slurry tanker does look very cool. Tractor's turning round. Things are actually happening. I think it's sort of working out all right. We're gonna need to just help things out a little bit in places, I believe, but overall, I think we're doing okay. Let's just get that one in, yeah. Look at that. Fantastic. Oh, I was wondering why this wasn't working. It's not emptying out the tanker at all. But the reason is we've got it set on the hired help will buy. So what actually happens is, so long as you've got some slurry in the tanker, the hired help will carry on and do the work himself, and we don't need to keep skipping back over to the yard and going and getting emptying out again. Although that does essentially mean that we have an eternal supply of slurry once the hired help starts doing some work in the field. Which I'm not sure that we necessarily want. But on the other hand, I don't also necessarily want to be running backwards and forwards to the yard and filling up too frequently. So I have the privilege of being able to use the huge, great big slurry tanker here, which seems to be doing just fine on this tractor. Now that I've got the tanker sort of half empty. Yeah. And at the same time, I've got an eternal supply of slurry coming in. Right. Now this is a bit odd. So it's still apparently spraying, even though it's not spraying, but it's still buying the slurry. Huh. This feels like a bug to me. It's definitely... Oh, now it's going a lot faster. So where's all that money going? Really not quite sure what's going on with this. I do know, however, that we are at least spreading a bit of slurry on the field. That much we have established. That I'm sort of on board with, and I know is happening. So at least that particular part of reality is still okay. Now that we've stopped it, it's turned off both parts of the machine. I'm going to drive round up to the top end of the field up there, and we're going to start spreading just for that triangle. And then I'm going to bring it back round, and we'll spread down the side of the field. This is not something that we're going to do every time. Okay. I also need to be aware that it takes a while for this dribble bar to lower down and get into place and then actually start spreading. There, now it's spreading. And it also slides around quite a bit out the back, sort of away from the angle that you're turning, so we've also got to be aware of that when we're turning sort of on the last little bit. I think there was a minuscule bit over there that we didn't quite get. I think it's going to be faster, actually, just rake this. Well, we just use our normal fertilizer spreader. See, I like doing this, and I like the idea that we're using up some of the slurry. I don't think we have the option for the worker to auto-pull from the yard. I think it's just... it buys the stuff instead. Raise that one up. There. So I'm going to need to fold this up. Now, if we go in here and we can have a look at the options for the worker. Slurry, buy. Free range. I see. So when I started off this series, I had an option between buy, off, and that was it. But now I've also got free range cow barn, so it will automatically take from there. And if I have a look up here, in the free range cow barn, I've got 52,000 litres of slurry. So it will, if we put the hired help going, automatically take from the cattle yard and pump it into this tank as he drives along the field. Which I think is a better option than just having it buy the slurry from nowhere and use it. I think that's what I would like to do. So we won't be doing this all the time. The extra weights that we've got here definitely helping. But even then, like, this tractor is still not quite heavy enough to deal with this tanker properly. This is really cool. I like this whole machine that we've got here, although potentially we should have something a little bit smaller. What size have we got here? Slurry tanks. So I've got this quad axle machine right here. It's saying it needs 350 horsepower. That one's only needing 300. That one's 275. This one is 350 horsepower that it requires to pull it. Now, obviously, this machine that we've got here has been edited slightly. So it's saying 650 horsepower. But I think, really, if you go and look at the base game machines... Now, Steve is very good at making his adjustments and so on to the various different mods that he does. But, I mean, if you have a look at that one, that's a 460 horsepower. So, potentially, it could go on there. 350 horsepower. Is there any standard size tractor? Oh, that one. Right. See, I really don't know how well any of these tractors will be able to cope with this huge, great big slurry tanker. This tanker is just huge. The sheer weighted volume of everything that this tanker has got makes it a lot more difficult to maneuver. And I'm wondering if also the terrain would play a part in whether or not you would use this one, whether or not you'd even be able to use this one. So, like, it says 350 horsepower, but would you realistically only be using a machine like this if you were working on flat ground? If you had ground like we've got here with some rolling hills, is perhaps that going to be a bit too much for this tanker? Never mind the tractor that's pulling it, just the tanker on its own. Is this gonna be one of those sorts of machines that just doesn't cope with hills? Because there are some huge agricultural machines that just they just don't work well on hills at all. Like, it doesn't matter what you put on the front of them, they're not gonna work very well on a hill. So you're looking at, for something like this, we're looking at sort of heading over into southeast of England, where everything is level and flat. We're looking at going to the Netherlands, and everything is level and flat. You know, those sorts of areas. You've got massive, great big areas of just level and flat. Large areas in Eastern Europe have got the same. You know, huge, great big prairie-like fields where everything is level and flat. And so it works. Doesn't necessarily work in all parts of Europe, though. And, well, also the rest of the world. I don't know what your slurry spreading situation is over in the States. I wouldn't like to say. I don't know anything about it. So, you know, get in the comment section and tell me if you do use slurry tankers on a regular basis there. What sort of machines are you using? Are you using something on this kind of scale, or are you thinking something a little bit smaller so that you can actually tow it round the corners without completely destroying the field? Because I feel that that is also a factor. Now, I'm going to bring this up round here like this, and then I'm going to bring it back down here like this, and I'm going to press H there. So, in theory, this should now be pulling from the cattle yard. So I got 22,800 there, and now it's dropped back down. So that's pulling direct from the cattle yard, and it will keep doing that until it empties out completely. Then it will empty out what's on board on the slurry tanker, and then when it's done that, that's it, game over. It will just stop in the field. It won't continue after that and continue to go and buy, which is what we want. I don't really want... If I'm using slurry and I'm using manure, I'm not going to be wanting it to go and buy the stuff for me. I would rather... that. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.